What's happening, YouTube? Your boy Touche and Mark. And this time we want to dive into the whole beef between Kendrick and who?
You said Drake?
I know, because you were talking about, I don't know why you want to talk. I want to hear Cole respond.
That's what I want to listen to, but you say you want
Cole
Drake.
respond. Yeah, because don't you kind of feel like, dog, like Drake is kind of responding to everybody who's taking shots at him before, right?
I don't know. He might start singing at Kendrick Lamar or something.
Anyway,
I'ma beat your ass.
We found a little something that no, he gonna be like Baka not nice. He gonna have Baka do all the dirty work. Baka not nice. But we found a little video where we got this guy and he's doing all, bro. No Diddy.
Shout out to What's the Dirt.
Shout out to What's the Dirt. He did all the heavy lifting for us. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna check it out and we're gonna react to some of the things that he uncovered as far as the history between Kendrick and Drake.
Told you long-winded.
That was a great intro. The hell?
We're going to have to, hey, because he's long-winded and the video's long, we probably going to do this in like 2-3 parts. So
hater. Absolute hater.
Just saying.
I have been in the gym though, so my cardio is up.
Yeah, hopefully you can run as long as you can talk.
Bro, get to the damn video. Get to the damn video.
Drake and Kendrick Lamar hate each other. Well, at least one of them hates the other person, while the other has tried many times to be friendly and squash things. One rapper seemed to believe that they were actually friends, while the other looked at their relationship as a business transaction. After 2 weeks of research, it's safe to say that one MC has lost every ounce of respect for the other. You guys really liked my last video where I broke down all the subliminal disses from Drake's new album, so I decided to stick with a similar style. And in my last video, I asked you guys to hit the like button, which is something I don't usually do, but the video did really well. I don't know if that's why, but just do me a favor and hit that like button again. Thanks. So when it comes to Kendrick and Drake, they weren't always on bad terms. Back in 2011, Drake had already blown up, and Kendrick had yet to release a major debut album. Now, Kendrick was definitely buzzing, but he was far from the star that Drake was. Even back in 2009, Kendrick mentioned Drake on a track where he pretty much admits that he thinks he's better.
Man, my girl split the bucket to KFC. She listening to Drake, and all I can say, damn, these niggas that much better than me, baby.
So Kendrick identified really early on that the main...
Is that him saying that? Or is that him saying like why they listening to them? Like they ain't better than me. I don't think that admits that he's better.
No, he's not saying that he admitting that he's better. He's kind of saying that, yeah, he's been taking shots at Drake way back then. Kind of like, yo,
I don't know.
You listen to this dude, baby, what about me?
Yeah, because I'm better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he said that he basically admitted that he was better. Just trying to clear shit up. Stuff.
Mainstream hip-hop wasn't really his thing. However, on June 16, 2011, Kendrick performed in Toronto for the very first time, and when Drake found out he was in the city, he decided to hit him
Look
up.
at all that ain't Drake right there. That's all.
I need y'all to know, it's my first time out here, you dig?
And Kendrick would speak about meeting Drake in a double XL magazine and said,
that's
a real good dude.
Like
he got a real genuine soul. We clicked immediately. And it was during that meeting that Kendrick provided Drake with a copy of his unreleased album, Section 80.
Which was hard.
Visions of Martin Luther staring at me.
Kendrick said that Drake was the first person outside of his team to hear Section 80 and that Drake was blown away by the project. I even found a 2011 tweet where Drake posted Kendrick's lyrics from ADHD.
We never do listen unless it comes with an 808.
Drake liked Kendrick's music so much that he asked him to be on his upcoming sophomore album, Take Care. Throughout the track, Kendrick talks about meeting Drake for the first time and how he was surprised that Drake wasn't fake like most of the music business.
Hit me on the cellular, thought he was gonna sell me a false word like the rappers I know.
Kendrick outlines how Drake showed him a taste of what being rich and famous actually looked like.
Sat down with a few drinks, located where you can't see us. A white waitress on standby when we need her.
On the track, Kendrick really battles with the idea of becoming famous as he's worried that it will change him for the worse.
Yeah, like damn, this next
Would
level
you
that
want to
I'm
be
going
famous?
Will I get caught
No.
up in the lifestyle
I just wanna be
that
rich.
make me or break me? And that was what the whole record was about when I did the interlude.
And I mean, even back then, we could see the difference in these two artists where Drake is talking about the Maybachs and his lavish life, and Kendrick is worried about his mental health and his, his relationships, his
That's
friendships.
true.
Is interesting because just 2 or 3 years later, the dude did get depressed from just being in the industry.
I didn't know you were suffering from depression the way you said you was on the album. Like,
Yeah.
Did the industry cause that?
Not the industry, just the change.
And Drake only continues to show
What does that even
Kendrick
mean?
more love by taking him and A$AP Rocky on his Club Paradise tour.
This is my brother A$AP Rocky. This is my brother Kendrick Lamar.
I'm on this motherfucking Club Paradise tour. Matter of fact, my nigga Drake, TDE, high power in this,
And Drake has always claimed to have fought with management to take these guys on tour because his label had other plans.
I remember when he came out with
There's
that
people
verse.
I can put on here that the label wants me to put on here, but I fight for this one reason, man. Like I fight to promote what I love. You know what I'm saying? I fight to promote the music that I truly love. So
Drake would mention this again in 2016 on his track 4 p.m. in Calabasas.
When they
Yeah.
told me take an R&B nigga on the road, and I told him no and drew for Kendrick and Rocky.
However, Kendrick's superstardom quickly catches up with Drake, as a year later he dropped one of the best hip-hop albums of all time.
That album right there,
Mad
bro.
City.
I used to be jealous of him to follow. He was the one to follow.
And Black Boy Fly is a bonus track, but to me, that's one of the most beautiful songs on that album. Absolutely amazing
I
story.
like Money Trees.
And it was on that album where Drake returns the favor and gives Kendrick a feature on Poetic Justice.
I really hope you play this, cause oh girl, you test my patience.
And on the day that the album dropped, Drake even posted a tweet saying, "Congratulations to Kendrick, incredible body of work, honored to be a part of it." However, even at this point, Kendrick and Drake couldn't be more different in terms of how they approach music and life in general.
Really, money really don't make me. I'm learning that now. That's not really my peace of mind. having
So,
money.
question for you, right, Mark?
Electra Chung's shoulders.
Question for you. You see how he just said money don't really make him happy, right?
Okay.
But when you look around, wouldn't money solve all your problems right now?
My problems, no.
well, well, yeah, that is true. But it's like,
Dog, you just get different ones.
well, look, I want every one of those problems, bro. Every one of those problems that come with having money, I want them all. What they say, the fake friends, the groupies, the motherfuckers asking you for money. Dog, I want every problem that come with it. Dog. Every single one. I'm ready.
I don't know, dog. We'll find out.
You love the shoulders? I just love her shoulders. She's actually blushing as well. She's
No doubt about it,
That's
they're
weird.
just two different guys. Next, we get a bit of an inside look on how Kendrick actually sees Drake as a person when the legend himself, DMX, claims that he would love to beat Drake up.
Man, I wish it was like maybe 7 years ago. Well, maybe like 10 years
Shout
ago.
out.
Oh, y'all don't want to see it.
To beat him
Shout
up.
out to one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
man.
well,
Just a few days later, Kendrick was asked about his thoughts on DMX's rant, and he thought it was hilarious, saying that his entire tour bus nearly died of laughter.
I'm wondering why these niggas in the front of the bus just cracking up, like hitting walls and shit, just crying. I'm like, what you niggas talking about? They mute, they stop laughing, right? I just hear X going off on a laptop. Fast. I'm like, what's going on? It's like, yeah, he's going in right now.
Now,
I take
remember,
X over both of them.
Drake is pretty sensitive, so if he did see that, he probably felt a way about it. So the two would work together for the very last time on one of 2013's biggest hits, A$AP Rocky's Problems.
Girl, I know you want this.
And Kendrick went off on that too.
Well, that was it. After that, you never see these two on a track together again. In 2013, things started to get a lot more competitive between the two because at this point, Kendrick was not just an up-and-comer, he had become that guy.
Getting a lot of accolades from your peers and the hip-hop icons.
Thank you.
I love Kendrick Lamar.
Number one on that list, Kendrick Lamar. What's up?
The hip-hop savior, it seems like. Woo!
And let's not forget, Drake is still Drake. He had a phenomenal year also.
Shout out to Hamilton. Shout out to Toronto one time. Like the best rap album goes, and they said take care of it.
Oh my God. Let's go.
Given the success of both artists, the media and fans started to debate who was better, and Kendrick started off the year with a bang when he was awarded MTV's hottest MC in hip hop.
And we went through about 15 of them, narrowed it down to 10. The 10 became 5, the 5 became 2. And you, Kendrick Lamar, are the hottest MC in the game, according to the MTV brain.
And most of Kendrick's hip-hop friends seem to be happy for him.
I heard you're not happy about that.
Nah, I wasn't until I found out who's number one. They made my man number one, Kdot.
Yes.
Drake, so I'm straight with that.
However, Drake was one person that certainly did not send any sort of congratulations to Kendrick.
What about your rap peers? Did they call? I know it's kind of competitive, so did they say congratulations?
Rap peers,
First shots fired.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about it.
And I mean, at this point, Drake's at least got to be thinking, like, this guy's starting to become a problem. He's getting a little bit close now. And Kendrick's winning streak was just beginning, as 2 months later, he cleaned up at the 2013 BET Awards, winning the Best Male Hip-Hop Artist over Drake.
I came up in that same county building, food stamps, welfare, Section 8.
And this time, I did find a tweet from Drake where he congratulates Kendrick on the win. Congrats to Kendrick as well. Nothing was the same. With all that said, things were about to change.
Not that nothing was the same.
August 12th, 2013 was a special moment for hip-hop. To this day, it still stands out as one of the most exciting things to happen in the last decade.
Because this is where hip-hop went to, bro.
Kendrick let everyone in hip-hop know just how competitive he was when it came to that number one spot.
I'm usually homeboys with the same cause I'm rhyming with, but this is hip-hop and them should know what time it is. And that goes for Jamaica, Big Crit Wale, Pusha T, Meek Mills, A$AP Rocky, Drake, Big Sean, J Electron, Tyler McMillan. I got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder you niggas. Trying to make sure your core fans never heard of you niggas. They don't want to hear not one more noun or verb from you niggas.
And we could really, really use a moment like that right now in hip-hop.
It's rain like it's Mayweather, good music, Mayweather, champagne just tastes better.
And let's just give it up for Big Sean, because to me, he had one of his career best verses, but it just got overshadowed because of Kendrick's verse.
I said, fuck trying and not doing, cause not doing is something a nigga not doing. I grew up the end big and pie and got ruined. So until I got the same crib, big hat in that juicy vid, bitch, I can't motherfucking stop moving.
But when it came to Kendrick's verse, nobody that he mentioned had a problem with it.
The crazy part is Kendrick just did it to him again because
he
just released his damn single.
And the single kind of tough too.
Yeah.
But dog, that Kendrick this to Cole and Drake, bro. Sheesh.
Kdot and them niggas, that's fam, yo. I think hip hop need this shit, man.
You know, I knew what it was for hip hop culture. I knew how important it was.
He said my name, like he said a couple people's name, and he said he's the best rapper. I say I'm the best rapper every song I'm on.
Yeah, but he wasn't coming at him in a disrespectful way. He's coming at him in a competitive way.
So for me, it's one of those things where I appreciate. I didn't take it necessarily as a diss. Hip hop is competitive, but I am a competitor.
Wait,
Drake did though.
Nobody had a problem except for Drake.
I just I don't know. It just wasn't real to me. It's like I saw him after that, and it was just like love. So it's like, was that real or was that just like for the people? You know,
that's that light skin energy, bro.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, then let it be real. Then I mean, because those were harsh words, right? So it's
light skin.
You can't just say that and then see me and be like, yeah, man, what's up? Pretending like nothing ever happened. Like that's not real.
And this right here is a perfectly good example of what
soft
as cotton, bro.
Bro,
he
listen.
said, just let it be real.
He
Just
just
let
said
it
it
be
wasn't
real then.
personal, but this is hip hop.
Just let it be real then. That's what happens, dog. We born light skinned, man. Shout out to all my dark skins.
Yeah, that's crazy, dog.
Shout out to Admiral, the darkest of them all.
Why people call Drake soft and emotional. You can't act this way and then sit back and wonder why people are labeling you as such. Like this is why. And it's interesting because when Drake came into the game, he seemed to understand that competition came with the genre.
It's a great thing though to be competitive with those guys because you're always pushing yourself. I mean,
and look, Drake was not a rapper that you could just push around. He did go toe-to-toe with people before. Back in the day, a Toronto rapper by the name of Aristo seriously tried to end Drake's career, and it didn't end well for this guy.
And it's the room of resolution, I'm finishing it in here. If I copy Button's flow, you mimicking his career.
It was good riddance. It was lights out. It was a body. And that's what it was, man. And that's why good riddance. And what happened? Good riddance, right? Bye.
I remember when this dropped because it was all over the hip hop blogs in Canada. And yeah, we did have hip hop blogs in Canada in 2009. They did exist. With all that said, Drake dropped Nothing Was the Same, and we get to hear the first subliminal shot for Kendrick. On the track titled The Language, Drake immediately starts out with a shot.
I don't know why they've been lying, but your shit is not that inspiring.
So when Kendrick's Control verse dropped, Drake stated on multiple occasions that he did not find the verse impressive, that he thought it was for shock value, and that it would soon be forgotten.
But it was real.
That's a lie.
For like, you know, a couple
it ain't forgotten at all.
Like if I asked you, for example, like how does that verse start?
One of Drake's more notable claims was that Kendrick had a great first album, but he questioned whether or not he could do it again.
And as far as Kendrick goes, like I can't wait to see what he does because now it's time to show and prove. And consistency it's been one album. Consistency is like you need more than one album. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's time to show and prove.
Drake claimed that he was all about putting out memorable bodies of work as opposed to creating moments.
When it comes to
Take Care was hard.
I'm more worried about consistency.
Even though The Weeknd wrote the whole thing.
Work.
However, Drake continues to send some more shots.
Any nigga that's talking that shit just to get a reaction.
Again, Drake refers to Kendrick as someone that wrote the Control verse to get attention.
I am the kid with the motor mouth. I am the one you should worry about.
A motor mouth is defined as a person who talks quickly and continuously, often without considering what they're saying. In this case, someone that raps fast. Is clearly about Kendrick.
Talking that shit with your back to me, just know it always get back to me.
So outside of the DMX comment, there were some other interviews where Kendrick had laughed at Drake's expense.
I heard about you touring with Drake. Yeah. I was like, that's dope. That's dope. And I was like, well, I hope he doesn't hang with Drake too hard because Drake isn't exactly doing what we thought he would, what many of nerdy backpackers like myself thought he might be doing a few years ago.
Right.
And honestly, man, at this point, I would not be one bit surprised if Kendrick said something behind Drake's back and it got back to him. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all. At the 2013 BET Hip Hop Awards,
dog?
Kendrick decided to throw some gas on the fire.
But watch this
he
right
went
here.
into the awards with the most nominations at 14.
I remember this award.
And Drake was a very close second with 13. However, Kendrick would be the man to come out on top, winning Lyricist of the Year, MVP of the Year, Album of the Year, and Feature of the Year. Drake also came out with a handful of awards for Best Hip Hop Video, Track of the Year, and People's Champ. However, it would be Kendrick again that stole the show.
Yeah, and nothing been the same since they dropped Control and tucked the sense of the rapper back in his pajama clothes. Ha ha, joke's on you, high five. I'm bulletproof, your shots will never penetrate. Pin a tail on a donkey, boy, you been a fake.
So, pretty self-explanatory. Kendrick uses Drake's album titled Nothing Was the Same to call him out for being sensitive regarding the Control verse. And this whole thing got a lot of people excited, and just the very next day,
hey, it's crazy how he breaks it down like that.
Meant for Drake.
Was people want to know, was that directed towards Drake or anybody in particular?
Huh? That's us having fun as usual.
That's what I did.
But Drake did not seem to think so, and just
that he didn't
few
just
weeks
address
later,
for what it was.
He came with some more subliminal shots on a future track titled Shit. And that's the name of the song, Shit. but I always like this record.
Took niggas out the hood like I'm from there. So you know it's all good when I come there. I hear you talk about your city like you run there. Then I brought my tour to your city. You my son there, nigga.
And to me, this is one of the best subliminal shots of the whole saga. Like Drake
and he did when he came. That's when he did I believe that's when he did the video with The Game, and they were in Compton. Remember The Game had, I forget the name of it, but it was one of the games. Oh, what's that name of that song, man? It's gonna come to me. I'll just look it up. But yeah, he came and shot the video with The Game in Compton.
That's crazy. And Game probably got him to okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now with a Game, if Game knew all this, does he bring Drake to Compton to do that?
It's 100. It's that song 100. Yep, the 100. That's what I thought it was. I wasn't sure though.
So if Game knows the beat, does he bring him to Compton to do that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, listen.
Isn't Kendrick like I know there's a lot of famous people from Compton. You got Game, Easy-E, but isn't Kendrick like the people's champ there?
Absolutely. So because where he grew up, where Kendrick grew up in the West Side territory, right? Like the West Sides are like the birthplace of a lot of that Paru stuff, right? So it was like he got the whole he got a large back, bro. And I think The Game, when he did that, you just looking out for you. You know what I'm saying? As The Game, he like, look, man, I'm trying to get on. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get, and even though he was already on, but that Drake feature in Compton, yeah.
It's like Jay-Z here. It's a very Hove-like thing to say where he's just completely sunning Kendrick. So it's been known that Kendrick puts on heavy for the West Coast, claiming that he's the king, but Drake refers to him as his son because Kendrick went on his first big tour with Drake, and of course they had some shows in California. At the time, even Kendrick admitted that he was not used to these large crowds.
The transition of me doing the 2,000 venues I've been doing back then is a little sketchy for me doing this 10,000. I got to really work with magic.
I even found a Kendrick tweet from 2012 when he was on tour with Drake where he says, "Finally home, LA, Club Paradise. Let's see what happens tonight."
And if a nigga say my name, he the hot shit. But if I say that nigga name, he still the hot shit.
So this one clearly a reference to Kendrick's Control verse. A lot of MCs responded to Kendrick with a verse of their own. And Drake is basically claiming that given the fact that he's a bigger artist, if he says Kendrick's name, he's just doing him a favor. And this next one's not even a diss. I just want to show you guys my favorite line from the song.
And niggas ain't got a grill, still ice grill hating. I know you already know Mike Will made it. Just looking at the numbers, nigga, I feel amazing. I'll call Michael Jordan up and Mike Will make it. I'm the young rat.
You know, he just signed a deal with Jordan. Mike Will made the beat. Shit's fire. Come on. However, just a few days later, an issue of Vibe magazine was released, and Drake talks about Kendrick again, stating how he didn't like how the Control verse messed with the rollout of his album. Where it became an issue is that I was rolling out an album while that verse was still bubbling, so my album rollout became about this thing. Drake then continues to position himself as someone that is above anything that Kendrick has to say. He's hungry, so he's going to do what he has to do, like the BET cypher, but again, it's not enough for me to go. I have to realize I'm being baited, and I'm not going to fall. Jordan doesn't have to play pickup to prove that he can play ball. No offense. Now, at this point in the story, we're about to witness one of the biggest upsets in Grammy history. At the 56th Annual Grammy Awards, Kendrick lost the hip-hop album of the year to Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, and rightfully so. People were outraged.
Macklemore and Ryan Lewis.
All you got to do is look at Pharrell's face, because it says it all. He's just trying to get off the stage as quickly as possible. Like, why did they get me to do this? And Macklemore, feeling the heat, decided to text Kendrick afterwards and say that he felt he should have won and that he got robbed. And it would have been a nice gesture if he didn't take a screenshot of the text and post it on social media for everyone to see. And just a month later, Drake gave his 2 cents in a Rolling Stone interview. You won. Why are you posting your text message? Just chill. Take your W, and if you feel like you didn't deserve it, go get better, make better music. It felt cheap. It didn't feel genuine. Why do that? Why feel guilt? You think those guys would pay homage to you if they won? To name just Kendrick? That shit made me feel funny. No, in that case, you robbed everybody. We all need text messages. Now you guys tell me, does Drake seem like he's defending Kendrick in this article?
No.
Or does it seem like he's salty because he's not in the mix? At this
He's
point, the
salty.
feud dies down for about 8 months, and Drake even had some very kind words for Kendrick at his OVO Fest when he brought out J. Cole.
And while you all got your phones out, I want to shout out my nigga Kendrick Lamar. Shout out to Kendrick. Kendrick was on my album. We went on tour together. That's one of the hardest niggas alive right there.
Drake twice to squash it one.
Right there.
However, it looks like Kendrick did not get the message, as just 2 months later, he responds to Drake's Motormouth line on a J-Rock track titled Pay For It.
I tell him all the hell, King Kendrick, resurrected my vengeance, been dissecting your motor mouth till I break down the engine.
Clearly a response to Drake's subliminal on the language. Again, Kendrick inserts himself as the king, and he doesn't seem to think that Drake can go to distance with him. And it will be just 2 weeks later where Kendrick gets asked about this alleged diss.
You know, a lot of rumors are with the Drake thing. Like, you know, did you really bring the Drake thing back with the J Rock single, or what's that about?
What? I ain't hear about
the Drake.
That's the only thing I don't like that he's doing, bro.
No,
disgusting.
I think that's people digging in. That's people digging in.
This is the man, dog.
Once again, we're all reaching, and it's not about Drake. And just a few days later, Kendrick would get asked about his now year-old Control verse, and this time he said that all the people that mattered understood it, and for the people who didn't, they don't matter.
The people that respected, was people that knew the deal.
Yeah.
What's the important people that respected and knew what it was, and people that don't respect it, obviously they just people that don't get it, and really didn't matter.
And again, Kendrick claims that the chances of seeing him and Drake go head-to-head is slim to none because they're 2 different artists.
It's just a whole nother dynamic. I can't see myself going bar for bar with Drake. We're
That's
2
why
different
I
type of
appreciate
artists.
what's going on right now.
I've argued that.
And I honestly...
What?
That's why I appreciate what's going on right now, dog. He's finally just like straight out taking, dog. None of that subliminal approach, dog. This is who I'm talking about, and this is what it is. I don't like how you can clearly see he's making reference to Drake, but then when he's asked about it, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Like, bro, cut the shit.
Yeah.
Dog, just stand on it. You continually diss the man. It's obvious, bro. But you don't want to stand on that. That's what I didn't like.
Don't be scared. You say
Don't be scared. Yeah.
I honestly feel like this is just Kendrick downplaying Drake as not being on his level. I don't think he respects Drake. I don't think he really ever respected Drake. And there's some underlying meaning behind this when he keeps saying it.
Would Drake be somebody you would like to have some fun with?
Nah, I couldn't. We come from 2 different worlds, 2 different backgrounds. I really don't see that playing out, as entertaining. Maybe to, the people listening, not for myself.
Keep in mind, Kendrick was classified as the savior of hip-hop. He was embraced by everyone just for the art, whereas someone like Drake really had to go to distance to prove himself, and even then, he could never win over the fans that admired a certain level of lyricism.
What you mean? He got the cosign by Wayne, and
but he's talking about like those old school hip hop heads, like those old school lyricists. They never really looked at Drake as like one of them.
maybe they knew he had a ghostwriter the whole time.
Dog, there you go.
Many
Shout
consider
out to
Drake to
Miller.
be a pop star, and I feel like Kendrick is saying this without really saying it.
Just hold on, we're going home.
However, next Drake drops his surprise
Yeah, that was
mixtape.
hard.
If you're reading this, it's
That
too late.
mixtape was hard.
And on that project, he had some more shots for Kendrick.
They gon' say your name on them airwaves. They gon' hit you up right after like it's only rap.
So Drake had claimed previously that he saw Kendrick just 5 days after the Control verse, and it was all love.
I know that that verse had no malice behind it because I saw him 5 days later at the VMAs and it was all love.
And at this time, Drake was the talk of the town because this surprise project made a big splash.
That was
just a few
hard.
weeks later, Kendrick decided to shake things up and finally dropped his long-awaited album by surprise as well.
And when I wake up, I recognize you looking at me for the pay cut. Bahamas, I be
Naturally, fans and the media pitted the two albums against each other. Kendrick, bruh, how do you let Drake drop a mixtape that goes harder than your album? A freaking mixtape. Not gonna compare Drake and Kendrick anymore because they're not even playing the same sport right now. Kendrick is in his own league. And comparing these projects makes zero sense. It's apples to oranges. Drake's project was great for club DJs, gym playlists, cruising in the car, whereas Kendrick's album touched on real-world issues, was chanted during protest, and is looked at today as one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. However, Drake wasn't done as he let another one go on the game.
That's the one I was telling you about where he came to Compton.
I would have all of your fans if I didn't go popping. I stayed on some conscious shit.
Again, Kendrick had just released To Pimp a Butterfly, his most conscious album to date, and Drake is basically saying that he could do that style if he wanted, but he's on a different mission with his music. Also important to note, the video for this track was filmed in Compton. So Drake is saying all this while in Kendrick City.
I'm in the club every time that they play the competition. If they even play the competition, then I seen the response they get.
Now, the game was asked about this, and he didn't seem to think it was a shot at Kendrick, but he also didn't count it out.
Drake was taking subliminals at Kendrick on that song, and Kendrick caught it and wanted to return something. I think that would be great for hip-hop.
However, one of the worst things to be exposed for as a rapper was about to happen to Drake.
Yep.
On July 22nd, 2015, Meek Mill took to Twitter to expose Drake for having ghostwriters.
10 bands, 50 bands, 100 bands, man.
I can remember having a conversation with my little brother on the phone, and we were both saying, like, there's no way that Drake has ghostwriters because he's too good of a writer himself. It just doesn't make sense. But boy, were we wrong.
Okay, 10 bands, 50 bands, 100 bands, man.
Did you hear the reference tracks? Line for line, word for word. This is bad.
And there was a couple
terrible
of them
time to
too.
be a Drake fan. Shortly after Meek's tweets, the reference tracks would leak to support the ghostwriter allegations. And now we get back to Kendrick, who just a few months earlier made reference to rappers with ghostwriters on his single King Kunta.
But a rapper with a ghostwriter. What the fuck happened? I swore I went down.
So
It makes sense,
basically,
don't it?
Kendrick found out about this ghostwriting shit months before we did, and months before it even got exposed. And Kendrick is basically saying, like, I know what you've been up to, buddy. I'm not going to say anything, but I know.
Buddy?
With all that said,
Yeah,
as
sure.
everyone knows,
Buddy?
Drake responded to Meek Mill with a now legendary diss record
Hey,
back to back.
facts, bro.
Back to
Facts.
back like I'm Jordan 96, 97, whoa.
And being a day one Drake fan, for me personally, I was never more proud of Drake in his whole entire career than when he dropped back to back.
The new record, back to back, tough tune, tough tune.
But once again, Kendrick responds to Drake just 1 month later on Dr. Dre's Compton album.
But still I got enemies giving me energy, I don't wanna fight now. Subliminal sending me all of this hate, I thought I was holding the mic down.
In this one, Kendrick references Drake's recent track, Enemies.
Got enemies, got a lot of enemies.
Kendrick is once again talking about how Drake keeps going the subliminal route, which at the end of the day is really no different from what he's doing, but he didn't stop there as he did it again on another song from the same album.
They liable to bury him, they nominated 6 to carry him. The beef is on his breath, inheriting the drama better than the great white. Cause this is life in my aquarium.
The words "they nominated 6 to carry him" could potentially be a Drake reference, given the fact that Toronto is referred to as the 6. And if this is the case, Kendrick is basically saying that everyone seems to think that Drake is his greatest opponent, but that he's a great white and that this is his aquarium, aka he's the king of hip hop.
And you ever look back on any and feel like you'd like to change any of the things that you've written, or
it'll be me saying I want to go deeper. I should have went deeper. You know, I shouldn't have held back.
And at this point, Kendrick finally gets his well-deserved moment at the Grammys, winning 5 awards, but more importantly, he finally clinched the Best Rap Album category with To Pimp a Butterfly.
And I feel
glory
like
to God, that's for sure.
Drake also racked up a bunch of accolades in 2015. If you're reading this, it's too late. Broke Spotify's record for 17.3 million streams in its first week. Hotline Bling had dominated the charts, and his collaborative album with Future also did crazy numbers. And I mean, even at this point, anything Drake touches is going to do numbers. Next, we get some inside information that this situation between Drake and Kendrick could have got really ugly. Former NFL player turned commentator Marcellus Wiley wouldn't say any names, but said that years earlier he interviewed one of the two rappers and it completely went off on the other.
The Drake Kendrick beef, when it was really starting to brew. Yeah.
Wow.
I was on Sports Nation at the time, and we taped the interview with one of the people, and that one person went in on the other person. And we were ready to let this go, but then that one person's team made sure that didn't get out.
Marcellus was quoted in a DJ Vlad interview as saying that the person went so hard and
because Kendrick Marcellus is from Compton, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's from Compton, but he's definitely from the LA area.
I thought he was either from Compton or South Central.
Yeah, he's definitely from the LA area. And
why would Drake go on a West Coast sports show?
Well, pretty sure it's Kendrick. And the
this
fact
interview is his thing.
Oh.
I know we passed all that. Right there.
Brought the beef to the heights of 50 Cent and Ja Rule. And you got to keep in mind, Marcellus is trying to sell a book, and he claimed that in this book, he would expose everything that was said and who said it. And I bought the book. I spent the $13.99. I didn't read it. I searched it. And here's what he had to say.
He said, I didn't
He got
read it.
Drake on tape talking major shit about Kendrick during an interview. Of course, after watching the interview, Drake's publicist wouldn't let us air that tape, but we still got it. Take my word for it. So that's it. That is the big expose. Like, I too was cheated, hoodwinked, bamboozled, and led astray by Marcellus Wiley.
He said, "Led astray."
All right, we're gonna pause it right there. We'll finish. We'll do a part 2 on this because this video is getting kind of long. But any thoughts so far?
Yeah, man, it takes me down that little rabbit hole of Drake and Kendrick, and it's like there's so much that you wouldn't necessarily catch unless somebody did all the research. But once somebody does that research, you're like, oh shit, okay,
yeah.
This has all been a build
I like to hear the lines before too, though. Sometimes, like, because it could be a completely different setup.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's kind of the time stamping of the lines too, where it's like, okay, this person dropped this song, this person dropped this verse, and it kind of seems like it's a direct shot at this song.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's like the time stamps have a lot to do with it too.
Yeah. But yeah, man, we out of here. If you like the video, make sure you like it, subscribe, say a comment what y'all think, and we'll do part 2 sometime.
All right, y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
Like, comment, and subscribe.